Hello everyone. Felt like making this video because I feel like a lot of people didn't get the message in the last one, and I'd show actual gameplay in the background here and there of my E2S1 Evernight with RMC Hyacine and no other support slot, right? So this is mainly to show the strength that you can achieve if you do decide to go into this type of vertical investment. And I've slowly realized that a lot of people on my channel don't really understand the benefit of vertical investment, right? They think of it as vertical investment, then I go horizontal, then I go vertical, then I go horizontal. However, I am speaking strictly vertical investment, right? And smart vertical investment, not none of that bullshit with just pulling every light cone, right? Because I understand the average player doesn't want to put in that much time into learning what's the most optimal pull for what they have or what they can get. But at the end of the day, optimally pulling in this game makes a very significant difference in your ability to clearing endgame, and I'm tired of pretending it doesn't. Okay, the biggest advantage vertical investment has over horizontal investment is you can actually take breaks, and you can use one team that you vertically invested into way longer as compared as if you were to had horizontally invested in it, right? For example, E0S1 Herda plus, let's say, a Noxa plus Tribi, both E0S0. This team is pretty solid, it's pretty strong, it's enough to clear all endgame content, but they've already been power crept quite hard by Cassie, Evernight, Phaenon, the Dot team, Anoxa with Cyrene, and so on. And once we hit version 4, they are 100% gonna feel way worse. However, if you instead optimally pulled, and instead of going E0S1 plus 2 E0S0s, got E2 Herda plus Tribi, and then ran something like Serval, RMC Sustainless, or you choose to run to Sustain, this is probably better, right? It's probably stronger, and it's gonna last you longer in its ability to clear endgame content, because at E2, Herda just gets way more enhanced attacks, and this leads to a lot more damage output, almost double. In Pure Fiction, this is way more noticeable as well, as she basically has zero downtime, right? So that's kind of an idea of optimal pull investment, vertical investment, which is exactly what I'm talking about here. Once again, the main appeal of this is that you're able to save for a long time without the worry of, oh, do I need this to now keep up with the endgame content, clear endgame content, yada yada yada. Now, depending on how much you care about anomaly arbitration, vertical investment may not look as good as it used to. However, if you don't care too much about maxing anomaly arbitration, you should be completely fine with optimal vertical investment, right? Another example of vertical versus horizontal I can use here, most notably with the character I'm literally mainly talking about, what inspired me to make this video, is Evernight, right? A average 4-cost Evernight team that most people are going to have her in is either E0S1 with RMC, Tribi, Hyacine, or E0S1 Cassie plus E0S1 Evernight plus RMC plus Hyacine, right? So this is like 4 to 5 costs consistently. In my own Evernight team, the one with only 3 characters I'm showing here, is as well a 5-cost team. It's an E0S0 Hyacine, and it's an E2S1 Evernight. But you'll notice my Evernight is a monster, right? She gets a 0 cycle against Japard, who, by the way, has 40% ice res. That means that, considering March has 0 res pen in her kit and there's no supports giving res pen, almost half of her damage is being removed when you're hitting Japard, yet still able to 0 cycle. Incredibly impressive. As well, able to get a comfortable 1 cycle against the non-ice weak Bronya in Pure Fiction, and I didn't test APOC because Pollux is just a fucking, you know, Hyacine showcase, Cassie showcase, whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? Once again, I'll bring this up. The main advantage of vertical investment is that you invest once and you're done, right? Let's say for version 3, you chose E2S1 Evernight as one team with E0 as 0 Hyacine. You run that with RMC plus Pela, Ruan Mei, whatever, if you got Ruan Mei from the free Annie token, and then you have Phenon, right? Let's say your other E2S1 DPS this version was Phenon, and you ran them with Bronya, King Yun, RMC, or Sustainless, whatever the fuck, right? Whatever the fuck works for you. E2S1 Phenon, E2S1 Evernight. And yes, this is achievable as you get around 800 plus pulls per version if you average 8 patches. And the average for an E6, if I remember correctly, is 660 pulls to around 700 pulls there. And that's 7 limited technically, right? E6 is 7 limited. So if that's the average for 7 limited, then for 8 limited, you just add a little more, probably another 100 pulls, and that leads you to the 800 mark, which is what you'd get if you use the pulls of an entire version, right? So the main appeal of vertical investment here is you won't have problems clearing content, right? Like E2S1 Evernight with RMC and Hyacine, and then E2S1 Phenon with whatever the fuck team, because this horizontal investment, to be honest, isn't that crazy. Both of these characters, to be honest, if you wanted to go out of your way to do it, you could just do a true 0 cycle, right? Like, unironically, you could just do a true 0 cycle, even outside of just clearing, but that's for the sweaty sweats, right? The point is, this is a team, or teams, that's going to last you way longer than normal E0 teams. Like in E2 Phenon, E2 S1 specifically, to be able to get power crept, I mean, we need like triple, quadruple HP inflation for him to actually struggle at clearing endgame content. And although I don't deny that that's very possible and very likely eventually, the thing is, by the time we get this much HP inflation, we'll probably be near or already at version 5, right? And by the time you're at version 5, you would have saved a metric fuck ton of pulls, right? This is the main advantage of vertical investment. You go hard into a few teams, then you just take it easy. You have an easy ride for about half a year. Now they start feeling like they're falling off a bit, but they still clear endgame content well. So you wait another half a year. It's now a year later, right? They can still clear, but it just ain't as comfortable as it used to be. And guess what? You have fucking 700 to 800 pulls in the piggy bank that you can instantly drop on a new comp. That is the main appeal of vertical investment. Every time I talk about the value vertical investment has, I get a lot of people in my comments talking about going vertical and then horizontal, so they kind of can't go vertical again. And it's like, yes, even though Phenon and Evernight, despite you vertically investing in them, will be power crept E0 versus E0, it will take a very long time before E0 beats E2 of those respective DPSs. And even when it does, those are probably going to be the newest, most shield, most premium units, and they require their full team, right? They require multiple teammates to be able to actually reach this level. And so yes, you could go, right? You could go into the, you know, E0 S1 Yai Sakura plus whatever teammate she gets, right? That's around 4 cost. But I simply wait until more time, right? This is the advantage of vertical investment. E2S1 Phenon, E2S1 Evernight are clean for a very fucking long time, and I don't want anyone to pretend they aren't. Even E2S1 Acheron and E2 Fei Xiao absolutely shit on current endgame so far. I know we're getting a big HP inflation spike soon, 100% understand that, but you get my point. Even with this HP inflation spike, E2 Phenon E2 Evernight completely shitting on endgame, right? So yes, you can still pull supports here and there. I'm not saying you can't, right? Like, for example, if you're a vertical investor, but, you know, Tribby may have caught your eye in Amphorius, I mean, get her. It's an E0, right? You don't actually need all 7 to 800 pulls to be able to instantly dump them on a new DPS suddenly, right? Like, you can pull here and there, but just be careful, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't just throw your pulls out on everything, every single patch, because otherwise vertically investing consistently becomes incredibly fucking difficult, right? I know a lot of people may say like, oh, this is hypocritical because like you spent money for your E2 Evernight, and it's like, yeah, but before my Evernight I got Evernight E0 S1 free to play. I also got E2 Cassie free to play, E2 S1. I also got High Scene free to play. I got my E0 S1 Phanon free to play, my Sunday free to play, my Anoxa free to play. All of these are on my Cassie account that I use with pure free to play currency. You'll notice I wasted a lot of my pulls on useless horizontal investments I don't even take advantage of anymore, because now I just use my E2 Cassie and my Evernight as separate main DPSs, right? So I wasted basically like 4 or 5 limited on shit that didn't matter, and if I didn't waste it on that, I wouldn't have even needed to spend money for my Evernight C2. It would have been completely easy to get and free, right? This is the, you know, appeal of vertical investment. Because now, let's say I did do the optimal vertical investment, theoretically. I didn't pull the useless Phanon, the useless Anoxa, the useless Sunday. I don't use any of these fucking characters, right? Let's say I got Evernight E2S1 with my free-to-play currency. I have an E2S1 Cassie with a Blade, a Ruan Mei I received on the Annie token, and a Gallagher that can still shit on endgame content. I just used that against Japard, which is non-quantum weak, non-wind weak. That shit got like a 2.5 cycle, right? Still works completely fine. And then my Evernight gets a 0 cycle. My Evernight shits on Lygus. My Evernight does this and that, right? So this is the main appeal of vertical investment. On my Cassie account, right now, I don't need to worry about investing into any other character or any other team for at least the next half year, right? Comfortability wise. If it's just clearing wise, probably the next year, if not longer, which is absolutely massive, right? That's absolutely fucking amazing. But am I gonna do that? No. I am gonna save actually for a decent amount of time now for Yai Sakura, because I mean, I've been waiting for her, if you guys know. But yeah, that's kind of just all I wanted to talk about. Point I kind of wanted to get across. You can go for horizontal investment. I think horizontal investment is more fun. A lot of people have mentioned that in my comments. 100%, right? You don't need to do this. Let's all be honest, right? This is just about clearing endgame content and getting the most value out of your Jades. But the easiest way to get the most value out of your Jades, to just constantly go horizontal investment and always clear endgame with ease, is getting a job, right? And that isn't a joke. I'm being dead serious. Get a job. It's going to massively help your enjoyment in these gacha games. But if you do still stay free to play for God knows whatever forsaken reason, then I'd say just do whatever brings you the most fun, right? Me personally, horizontal investment, when I have multiple accounts, makes no fucking sense, right? For me, it makes no sense because I have multiple accounts that all vertical invest, and this kinda equals to horizontal investment because I have a shit ton of different main DPSs depending on the account, right? So for me personally, horizontal investment is just fucking boring, right? It's a waste of time. But if you only play one account, then it's more understandable. This is just a quick explanation on my thoughts of vertical versus horizontal, why I think vertical is low-key starting to trump, right, horizontal investment. Vertical is just becoming much stronger as of late, to the point where it's just insane the jumps you get for certain characters, and it's not by any means needed for clearing content, but man, is it for sure appreciated, I'd say, right? Love y'all. Hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great night. Peace out.